Welcome to another episode, everyone. My wife is black, but I don't like black people, is what this individual here said. He said he married his black wife to conquer black people. This individual is full of stupidity and hatred. Ricardo Ignacio tries to check him. Come to find out, Ricardo Ignacio is of indigenous descent. I thought so from the decorations he had in the first video I did of him in the background with the individual on the horse and all of that. So he's Indian, Ricardo here. But nevertheless, this individual here, and some may find this surprising or an oxymoron that an individual can marry a black person and still hate black people. But I've told you time and time again that this happens all the time. We'll get into that. Check this guy out right here.
You said that black people are not our friends.
Hey, bro, how you doing? Just two things I want to ask you. Why do you hate, Hispanics of European Spanish heritage, and why do you hate when they claim Spanish heritage? And I have a feeling that you probably also hate Catholicism as well. And also, I noticed that a lot of you Chicanos, think that black people cannot be racist, but black people are the most racist individuals I experience. I've been discriminated by black people. That's why I try not to be around them that much. It was crazy. Even my wife is black, but I see that as a way of, conquering them or defeating them because I married one of their women. But either way, and black cops are the worst. They're more aggressive. And so black people are not saints. They're not, angels.
Now, by our friends, you're Ecuadorian, I'm Mexican.
Oh, okay. So he said black cops are even worse. They're more aggressive. This is the right-wing talking points. This is a white supremacist talking point. And he says that black people are not saints, and that he married a black woman to conquer black people and to get back at them. Like to say, yeah, I got one of your women. Wow. What type of wife does he have? What type of wife is this that will allow this? This is no true black woman for sure. This is not a true sister. This is an indoctrinated individual, a sellout. There's no way any real black woman would marry an individual with this thought process. He's married to an individual who's, when he says these sort of things about black people, they're no good, they're thugs, they're aggressive, they're the worst, they're racist, they're not saints. She says, you're right, honey. I agree. That's why I married you. That's why I came. I hate them too. That's his wife. Trust me. There's no way she's defending black people, or there's no way she thinks different than what he thinks. And she married him when he feels this way about her people. There's no way. She has to feel the same way as he does. So he married a woman who is of African descent, but she's not black. Black is a consciousness, not a color. So she doesn't have a black consciousness, then she's not black. Yeah. The hell?
Elaborate on what you mean by they're not our friends. Now,
I put it.
Before you answer, but you have tried to make it a point that black people are not our friends. Go ahead.
Okay, but I mean, I put it. I make it as Mexicans in Ecuador as one Hispanic community, one Latino community. So as a whole, I mean, I came from a state and a city that is really discriminatory against South Americans and Mexicans in general. So that experience really made me kind of bitter, made me, not want to be not live in New York. of all the trauma I suffer and everything. I mean, it's not really talked about. People don't think that black people could be racist for some reason. Like most people that I know, they say they cannot be racist. But there is, even one time I even got, not assaulted, but discriminated by a black cop.
Using your logic, most of the violence and hatred that I've experienced against me, not just physical violence,
Yeah.
but verbal and emotional damages that I've suffered in my life has been from Mexican people.
Oh.
Okay? Now, just being honest with you, most of the embracing that I've experienced has been from black people. So you and I have different experiences. I think it has to do with proximity,
Yeah.
with environment. Okay? Now, with that said,
No, it's not proximity. It's not environment. It's perception on black people's part. We recognize how he feels about us. We pick up on his energy when he's around us. He feels this way, and we see this. We feel this. We are not unintelligent people. You just think that we are. We pick up on this and just return the same energy. So don't play the victim and say that black people are discriminating against you. No, you feel this way about black people, and they pick up on this and just return the same energy. That's it.
using your logic, should I then say that Mexicans are not our friends?
No, not in that way, Like I said, I'm at fault for saying that. I should have thought.
Then you said to me that although black people are not our friends, you, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm basing it on the audio message you sent me. You have or had a black wife?
I have a wife. She's my wife.
She's black?
She's mixed. She's mixed, Scottish and black and Trinidadian.
What does she look like?
A little bit darker and natural curly hair. She dyes it blonde and make it straight. I'll be honest with you. Which, that's her looks. That's what she likes.
But when you see her, when people see her, they see a black chick.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he he was sure to make it a point that she's black with Trinidadian and all of whatever the hell else he named. That's all black anyway, partner. And everything comes from our balls. We're your daddy. You come from our balls. Everyone in the world comes from Africa. Y'all, the motherland. We y'all daddies. Okay? Understand that first of all. This has been proven time and time again. Now, he made it a point also to say that she wears her hair blonde and straightened. She straightens her hair and wears it blonde. And then says, that's the way she likes it. Well, that's the way you like it too, because your wife wouldn't be wearing something that you didn't like. Not a good wife, whatever that is. So this is she trying to please you. So this is what you like, and that's what she likes as well, I'm sure, as he said, to blonde her hair and straighten it. Because as I said before, she's a sellout. She's been indoctrinated. She thinks she's Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie, Britney Spears. She thinks she's Britney. She wants to be Samantha, not Keisha. She's trying to get as far away from Keisha and Rakisha as possible. Hell no. I'm Samantha and Jennifer. I'm Susan. You know? Yeah. blonde hair. Hey, I love my sisters. I'm here to tell you right now, I'm good on that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm good. I want a black woman with braids. They wore braids in Africa a long time ago. That's more culture. You look more black to me when you have braids. You know, it's just, I don't know. I just love a black woman with braids, bro. Blonde hair, not in here. Black woman with blonde hair, you can't be in this bed right here. You got to get up out of here. Yeah. Go get Sammy, Samantha. You think you Samantha? I need a sister up in here. I need some brain. I need a black woman who is proud to be black. Proud. Either that, or unfortunately for you, you can't get up on all this. You're bad.
Help me understand how black people are not our friends, but you're married to one. Help me.
Okay, I think because when there's love, it's different, you know, and she understands how I feel, so that's all.
You identified me as a Chicano, right? Now, what is a Chicano from your understanding?
I think it's someone either born or raised in the U.S. in California. That's how I was been told by friends and family.
That's what you've come to understand Chicano is?
At first, yeah. Because a lot of my family always think that the Mexicans born in the U.S. or raised in the U.S., you know, or Americanized have it, or called Chicano. That's what I thought at first. Yeah, I'm sorry if I offended you, probably.
I'm actually born in Mexico. Now, another thing that you brought up is in the in the audio message you sent me, you said that, or you asked me, you said something along the lines of, why do you hate Mexicans claiming Spanish blood?
Yeah.
More or less?
No, yeah.
Okay, so where on that video specifically, or any of my content, did you gather that I hate anybody at all, but specifically Spanish people or anything of that nature?
The reason is because I've seen a lot of TikTokers that be putting down any Mexican who classifies as Spanish. You know, me, I don't really discriminate whether you're Spanish. Sometimes going to one side, claiming one side and not claiming the other is, I think that divides people, you know.
Never mind other TikTokers.
Yeah.
Where on my content did you gather that I hate Spanish people at all?
When I saw, some of your videos where you only claim indigenous blood, and that was my understanding. And I should have seen your video before I said that, before I sent you that. And I apologize, and it's my fault. I should have watched your videos, but.
For what it's worth to you, I don't hate anybody because of your race. It's pointless to do that.
Exactly.
What I specified in the video, in that particular video that you watched initially, was why are Mexicans obsessed? It has nothing to do with me attempting to hate nobody.
Okay.
It was a question of saying, why do you agree that Mexicans are obsessed with having Spanish blood, even without knowing for a fact that they have it? There's a lot of Mexican people who don't have it, but they will convince you that they have it. Yes or no?
Yes, exactly. I see that happen.
Okay, that's the point of the video. Now, with that said, another other point of the video was me doing a DNA test. I have no Spanish blood. Now, that video in particular was me addressing an individual commentator who specifically said, the comment's still there, on one of my other videos. The video's called Mexicans Speak Spanish. You'll see it there. I responded to him there. So the individual says to me, I bet you if you did a DNA test, you'd see that you have 60% European. and I'm thinking to myself, why? And why that number? Where'd you get that number from? And why are you determined to make it a point that I am more European? What on me do you see that is more European than indigenous? Now, that's what I tried to point out. Now, in the video, I also said that I'm 80 Native American, indigenous. I have a small percentage of West African, specifically West African. No European, no Spanish. So, so the point of the video was me saying, why are Mexicans obsessed with claiming that all Mexicans have Spanish blood when it's a fact that not all of us do? Now, at the end of the video, I also said some of us have African blood. Yes or no?
Yes, true.
Okay, but why are we insulted when it's told to us that we may have African blood? Do you understand the point of the video?
Exactly. Sure.
We, as Mexicans, Ecuadorian, Central South Americans,
Yes.
we only have Spanish names, speak Spanish languages, etc.
Exactly.
It doesn't come from love. It doesn't come from a place of love. It comes from a place of hatred. It comes from a place of trying to erase our indigenous identity, cultures, ethnicity, etc. Now, I'm not one of those people that you're referring to that go out of their way to hate Spanish people. However, I completely comprehend when Mexican, Central, and South American indigenous people reject Spanish everything because we have come to the realization that the only reasons why we do speak that language as well as have their names, etc., part of their cultures,
Yeah.
pieces of their culture, is out of hatred. It is Spaniards attempting to erase us, right? So,
Exactly.
so now you identify us all as Latino. The word Latino or Latin, where does it originate from?
Okay, it originated from a group of tribe in Italy. Then it became the language of the Romans. There was even an empire called the Latin Empire in 1204. So I did some research, and I know the French gave us that name.
Now, with that said, why should we, non Europeans, indigenous people, identify and umbrella us all with an identity that originally belongs to the Europeans?
Oh, I think because a lot of us are a mixture of both.
Let's say I did have Spanish blood. If I were to say I only have Spanish blood due to Spanish people raping indigenous women, that's the only reason why I have Spanish blood. So I only have it because of those reasons. Why should I identify and or embrace the ethnic identity of a European when I know that it came from a bad place? A bad reason is the only reason why I have that blood is because of hatred. It's almost as if you and I were brothers, let's say, right? Like siblings. And our mother was raped by a white guy, let's say. Would it be understandable for you and I to reject our white side?
In a way, yes, because especially if you never met the guy, you never know no history of him.
Sure.
He's a stranger.
Not only a stranger, but a rapist.
A rapist, yeah.
So, what are you having a difficult time understanding about Mexican people, or as you call Chicano people, rejecting their Spanish blood when it comes from a rapist father? When I first was learning about my ancestry, etc.,
Yes.
the initial emotional content that I felt was bitterness. I'm a product of rape.
Well, that's because that's their daddy. They want proximity to these individuals. This is why they still carry on the name, and at least on a surface level, this is how many of them feel. And again, many individuals are going to say, or may believe, because I've heard it said many times before, that I have friends who are black as to excuse or justify some action taken against black people that was in a negative way. And so, they say, oh, I got friends who are black. Or people say, I've heard people say, Well, he's married to a black woman. How can he be racist? You know, I've had friends, white friends, who say, my boy, I come to find out they were racist. But they said at first, I've dated black men before. I'm not racist. I married a black woman before. I'm married to a black woman now. Well, here you have it. He's married to a black woman. And the bottom line is, they will sleep with you and even marry you because they may fall in love, but still disdain you, still look down upon you, still think that you are inferior, still think that they are better than you, even though they are married to you, and still feel a certain way about your people. Recently, just a week or so ago, I was watching these videos on TikTok of these black women who are former swirlers, black women who exclusively dated white men at the exclusion of black men. And they were all talking about, they have a whole little cult or whatever now where they sort of commiserate with one another about their experiences, their, traumatic experiences dating these individuals, saying that they all talk down to them. Every time they got in an argument, their husbands would call them the N-word, like Ted Danson did to Whoopi Goldberg when they were married many, many years ago. I think they were married. They were certainly together, and he called her the N-word. So as soon as these former swirlers were saying, as soon as their husbands got upset with them over whatever, an argument you will have with your spouse in any other situation, as soon as they got into an argument and the husband was upset about whatever and angry and lashing out, first thing out of his mouth, the N-word to his wife. Can't be racist, right? Because he married a black woman. Yeah, to torture her, to conquer her, to get back at her people, to make her feel like a slave. That's why he married her. Don't tell me that they're not racist just because, that's like saying how could, the so-called slave master slept with his slaves. Just because they asleep with you means nothing. They'll marry you, fall in love with you. They'll do all of that. Have children with you. I've seen a situation where the dude was getting upset with his child. He had a child with a black woman, and they were still married in the home together. And he got upset with his child and called his child the N-word. His son was like 8 or 9 years old, could certainly comprehend and understand what his father had just said to him, what his own daddy had just did. Got so angry, or maybe it doesn't take much anger at all to let that just come out. But to your own son, this shit, yes, this stuff runs deep. Don't tell me he's not you can't be racist just because you married one. He's married to a black woman, has a black son, and still is spewing this hatred in the home, in the household with these black people there, who he professes to love and care about, who he's charged with protecting. That's how deep this stuff runs. This individual here just said it. And you hear black men saying the same thing. You see these relationships where the white women are calling these black men the N-word as soon as they get mad. Y'all crazy. Oh, you can't, man. Y'all don't get it, man. Y'all don't get, you better read a book and understand how deep this stuff goes. Man. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you can marry one, have a kid by one and all that. Now, is that everyone? Someone said in the comments to one of these videos a day or so ago, my girl is black. I love her. He was a Hispanic dude that said that. I don't doubt that, bro. I don't. Fine. There are some interracial relationships where the other person does not view the wife or husband as inferior, has never said the N-word to their wife or husband's face and never would, or even behind their back. But they are the exception, not the rule. Believe that. They are the exception. They are in the minority. The majority, the vast majority. Yeah, the vast majority. The vast majority. That's how they feel.
I'm a product of being forced to detached from my indigenous identity, ethnicity, cultures, etc. I felt bitterness. I felt hatred. I felt nothing but negative emotions. It took a very long time to heal from that. A very long time. Almost 10 years, to be honest with you. I felt hatred for 10 years of my life. And after that hatred, I began to grow love for who I was. And I fell in love with the indigenous crumbs that I could gather, if you will. Out of my love came me creating this type of content. Now, one of the things that you said to me in the voice message, you said you probably hate Catholics? That's what you said?
Like I said, most indigenous TikTokers I've seen, they seem to hate the Catholic religion.
Never mind other TikTokers. In my content, where do you see me hating Catholics?
That was just my bitterness, like I said earlier. That's what I thought, my traits of mine. I should have seen your videos.
I'm assuming you're Catholic?
Yeah. Because I think that Catholicism somehow unites people, religion. You know, because when I go to church, I see people of different colors, different ethnicities. You know, so I think in my opinion,
Okay. So he's very religious because he believes that it unites people, but you don't want to be united with black people. You want to sleep with one every night. And I don't blame you. All of these individuals who claim to hate black people, they just can't help but to be around them in some way, or to be like them, try to be like them in some way. And they certainly can't keep their hands off of the beautiful black woman. They can't do it. They cannot. I'm telling you, they cannot do it. Back before slavery, but during slavery, they didn't even want to sleep with their own wives. These plain Janes, Samantha, they didn't want no parts of them. They couldn't stop raping because it was against this beautiful black woman's will. They couldn't keep their filthy, dirty, nasty, stinking hands off the black woman. And they still can't today. They just do it secretly because it's not popular, because she is the most despised, but the most sought after secretly, the most imitated, but just the most despised for different reasons. These individuals, so the fact that he's married to a black woman is not surprising to me, but I understand how it works. I really understand white supremacy in the history of this wicked nation. And I mean wicked. So the fact that he's bedding a black woman on a nightly basis and still harboring hatred for her and her kind is not surprising to me, knowing what I know about the wickedness of these individuals. He's been indoctrinated, and so has she. But don't be misled and fooled because they may be cool with you and befriend you or even marry you, or even have a child with you. Again, that's not everyone, of course. There are some individuals who don't think like this, who marry black people because, they don't see color. But most of them, and I don't give a damn what any of you say, most of them feel just like this. Most of them secretly hate your guts. You lying right there in bed next to them every night, kissing them and telling them you love them. And they're telling you the same thing. Until they get angry and then they let you know how they really feel. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all done been through it because I done heard you. I know how this stuff works. Yeah. Secretly, they despise you. I mean, because it's all, based on envy and jealousy. That's where it is derived from. Certainly, these individuals are devoid of creativity. They create nothing on earth. So they usurp our creativity, try to make it their own, and then pretend to despise us at the same time. Imagine the outrage, the unmitigated gall, the temerity of this individual, the utter confidence. This is to get on here and say that he doesn't like black people, but he's married to a black woman. I mean, with a straight face. Whoa. I mean, the quintessential racist right here. And again, the woman that he's married to needs to be ousted from the black community. Never again invited to a cookout. You're sleeping with the enemy. We can't trust you anymore. Don't know what you're over there saying to that guy. Because he has to be talking like this in the house, in the home. You can't suppress your real feelings for long. She has to have seen this video doing an interview, but baby, I'm on YouTube about to do an interview. Oh yeah, good luck, honey. Knock him out. You want to be watching, going to support you. She's seen this. She's not surprised by this. She already knows. He's already made his feelings clear. Long time ago. She just feels the same way. She has to for him to feel this way and for her to still be right there with him. Disgusting. She's disgusting. They need to be out. She never. Now, I mean, we'll see. No one is perfect. Some individuals have been reformed, have thought like this, and reformed racists, if you will, recovering racists. And Ricardo here is trying to school him some. He is at least taking it in. He's had to walk back a few of his positions already. He's had to apologize. My bad, I should have watched the whole video. You think before you responded? You made these accusations that Ricardo despised Catholics and Spanish people and all sorts of stuff without even really understanding or knowing his content. Now you have to walk back some of these claims about Catholicism and all of this. No, get it together. But at least he is listening some, and I don't know, perhaps is open to hearing some of this stuff and trying to learn, instead of sitting here being argumentative and angry and defending all of his positions and all of that, doubling down or whatever. I don't see a lot of that. But nevertheless, I don't know. I don't give a damn about none of that. I don't care nothing about potential. Let me hear you saying that this is not how you any longer feel, and then show this through your actions. Other than that, I'm gonna take you at your word right here. And if it's F me, then it's F you too, homie.
It does unite people in a way.
The only reason why Mexicans, Central and South Americans, indigenous people specifically, the reason why we even are Catholics, Christians, or any of those Jewish stemmed religions is due to force. Yes?
Force.
Now, it's the same logic behind why a lot of indigenous people reject Spanish and or European blood. The same reason why they reject Catholicism and Christianity. Do you have it in you to understand this attitude?
I mean, now that I'm talking to you, yeah, I'm starting to understand. Talking to you, it made me realize the anger, what happened in those residential schools. I think from 1800 to 1996, they were forced to cut their hairs and, dress a certain way. So
It's called the Indian boarding schools. So in the Indian boarding schools, Catholics and Christians would forcefully kidnap and force them into in these schools where they prevented them from speaking native languages, no longer identifying with a native name, and also forcefully bleached their skins and cut their hair, and forced them to no longer identify as a native, whether Cherokee, etc. And a lot of the times in those churches and or boarding schools, a lot of the children had their tongues cut out if they spoke their native languages, and they were tortured, and molested and raped. Knowing these historical facts, do you understand if Native Americans, whether from Canada or the United States, indigenous people of Mexico, Central and South America, we reject these religions? Although, from your understanding, you feel like they unite. But the reality is that any house of worship, regardless of the belief system, it brings people together. All religions are meant to gain followers. That's all they do is gain followers and have as many people as possible. So that's irrelevant. The bringing people together is irrelevant. The point here is, do you comprehend why Native people, indigenous people reject Catholicism, Christianity, etc.?
in a way, now, yes, I do understand.
This happened in Mexico too. It's just obviously not called Indian boarding schools, but it happened too. Indigenous people had their tongues cut out in Mexico for speaking our Nahuatl, Mixtec, Zapotec, etc. Sure, Purepecha. Whatever languages we were speaking, our tongues were cut out, and we were tortured, pretty much killed a lot of times, because the agenda of the European, specifically the Spaniard, was to force us to no longer recognize ourselves as indigenous, whatever tribe, no longer that, but to be, as you call, Latino. I personally reject the identity of Latino because I'm not European. I don't even have any European. But even if I did have European in me, I know why I have it. And it's not a good place. It's not from a place of love. It's from a place of hatred. So, if we're going to umbrella us all, why not umbrella us as indigenous? You're predominantly indigenous.
Yeah.
But yet you identify with the European identity? Or do you identify as indigenous?
Both.
How so?
I mean, that's when I see myself, I see myself a mixture of both of them. I don't like to pick sides.
So, if you were to find out that the only reason why you do have Spanish is due to one of your ancestors being raped, would you still embrace it?
Uh, Once I find out, the truth, probably not. Yeah.
You
Yeah, he's still going to embrace it. All right, there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't want to say too much more because I end up going on and on and on. And I mean, I will go on and on and on. I do it all the time in my personal life. I'll talk for hours sometimes with someone that I'm comfortable with, but just about a range of topics. And we talk about something like this, I can go on for a while, but I'll leave it there. I mean, the gall of this dude, though. This is how many of them think. But just the gall of him to get on here and say he's married to a black woman, but essentially despises black people for whatever reason. Of course, he has a reason. He makes, he blames, he points the finger, says that he has experienced hate, yet what he has experienced is a reflection of what he's given off. No one is crazy, recognize his energy, and just return it. And he just uses that as an excuse. Black cops are more aggressive. Yet every time I turn around, it's a black man being killed by a white cop. But they never talk about this. They never talk about these people. They never talk about them people, man. These people are like God to them, like angels, like they are to some black people. Like they are to all the, I mean, it is. This is nasty work. These other people are like God to them. God, man, God. When have you heard him say a bad word about him? When? It's always black people on their mind. Black people on their tongue. But it wasn't black people cutting out their tongues. Christians and Catholics cutting out people's tongues, killing people. These people are sick, but they love the individuals that brutalize them and that hate them and want them out of the country. I ain't hear him say a bad word about a white person. I didn't hear it. Hell, he on here talking about how he identifies with whiteness, how he's part white. How so? Justify it. How? I just recognize both. You're not both. What are you talking about? They want to be white so bad. That poor woman that he has as a wife, she's going through it. She needs a wake-up call. You know what? Wake-up call. I need your wake-up call. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe and stay free.